Hello everyone and welcome back to Lucky15 where I'll be giving you my Lucky 15 predictions for tomorrow's horse racing action. Just going to go through on how today's selections ran. Well, first of all, we had a non-runner at Brighton with Queen Beatrice, which was slightly disappointing because I quite fancied that one, and that was our long shot, but unfortunately didn't run. We had one winner today with Abby Gray. That was a nice performance for Mitchell Bastian and Evan Williams teaming up for that one. It was coming back from the break, but you could always tell that it was probably the most classiest horse in the race, and it canted up in the end by about 12 lengths. And it was a nice performance there by Abby Gray, and that could be maybe one to watch out for its future run. So not a bad winner there. Our nap of the day was D Master, that travelled pretty well under Paddy Brennan at Perth, I must say, for quite a long time in the race. And then when it was getting towards the business end, it was moving up well, and it looked like it could potentially win the race, but it got beaten in the end by Hammersley Lake, and I think it finished in around about third place in the end, just drifting back towards the end because it was a bit tired. I did say last night that I thought the run wouldn't be a problem after returning from a layoff, because this horse has shown in the past that it had gone well fresh, but you could probably tell today that the horse needed the run. But that's not like a put off for future races. I definitely think this horse will be winning races again soon, and definitely one to keep in the memory bank going forward in the future. And then our other selection was Court King. Now, Court King, it was a very lethargical performance by him. He travelled quite nicely in the race, in the fact that he was prominent to begin with, but then he started doing some lazy jumping, and Sean Barton really had to work hard to get him interested, and he did manage to finish fourth in the race. But if you actually watch the race back, you would probably say that it was a very good ride by Sean Ban, considering what he was up against with quite a stubborn horse, if I'm honest. He didn't really look interested at all today, and the horse managed to plug on. Many times you thought it was going to drift back through the field. You often see horses being worked very hard on, and they just, in the blink of an eye, go from a prominent position to right at the back. But this horse was finding all the time, and it was staying on all right. And maybe on another day, Court King, if he felt up for it, might have wanted to win the race today. But it was a good performance by the horse called Mighty Leader for Brodie Hampson. So well done to her. But like I said, it wasn't the worst day we've ever had, and these star horses ran in the mix, as it were. But anyway, I'm going to be making some predictions for tomorrow, as usual, in the format of an EachWay Lucky 15 bet. Now, tomorrow is going to be probably one of the most strangest vlogs I've done for racing. I've picked quite a few long shots that we'll get stuck into in a minute, but I definitely think they all have a very good chance of making the frame tomorrow, and could be surprise ones that could potentially be market movers if people watch my vlog or actually study the races a bit more in depth tomorrow. It'll be interesting to see if any of these horses do shorten up. And our first selection tomorrow is not a big long shot, but it's a reasonable long shot, and it starts us off in the 305 at Worcester tomorrow. The only jumps card on tomorrow in Britain, and it's a horse called Prussian Eagle in the 305. Now, this combination teaming up tomorrow is our winning combination of today. Mitchell Bastian and Evan Williams, who's starting to find his feet now, as we're getting more towards the autumn and the winter and the national hunt side of things. But this jockey and trainer combination have a fairly good relationship with this horse. Prussian Eagle was a winner ago, 2 starts out on the national hunt side. It does race from time to time on the flat, but he was a winner at Foss last 2 starts ago, and I thought he was still well handicapped, really, off a mark of 113. Mitchell Bastian as well has been riding very well of late. Like we mentioned, he already had a winner today, and he's expected to do good things because he's been riding between the 2 formats, and he's got a useful £7 claim, and that will come in handy tomorrow. But I thought this was a bit of a wide open race, and I thought at 12 to 1 that wasn't a bad price for Prussian Eagle, considering he's very versatile. He's only 6 years old as well, which in national hunt terms is not old for a horse, and there could still be some improvement to come from Prussian Eagle, especially this season. It'd be interesting to see if he can take some leaps forward and maybe get a better rated horse and maybe compete in some better events, because he has been off a mark as high as about 113 in his career, so 113 isn't a bad mark still, and he could definitely bounce back and improve as a horse. And Evan Williams is always a very good trainer. I always like Evan Williams' horses. He always tries to get the most out of them, and I thought tomorrow this horse had not a bad chance in the 305 at 12 to 1 to definitely make the frame at least, and potentially he could be a winner in that race. So that's going to be our first selection there tomorrow. Now this one is the one you would probably say, what the hell have I been on? Have I been drinking something different? Have I had a mental breakdown? What am I doing here? But I'm actually going and I'm sticking my neck out tomorrow. This is a 40 to 1 shot tomorrow in the 5:55 at Leicester, an apprentice race. And the horse that we're going for in this one is called Rock and Gold. It's trained by a trainer called Adrian Wintle, who I will admit I haven't really heard of before, but Finley Marsh will take the ride tomorrow, and I thought that was quite an interesting jockey booking. He's been really good this season, Finley Marsh. I think a few months ago he was on about a £7 claimer, or possibly even 10. He's now down to £3 claim, so that will be coming in handy there tomorrow. But this horse, I thought the reason at 40 to 1 you're thinking, why the hell am I doing this? I thought it was pretty dangerously well handicapped, especially in this kind of race where it's an apprentice race. Now, in all of its starts in the handicap, it's actually come last in all three of them, so that really reflects the price. But this is an apprentice race tomorrow, and if you actually look at the race in general, there's a lot of poorly rated horses, and when I mean poorly, like a lot of mid-50 rated horses, and they don't even place half the time. They're like kind of really midfield or nearly coming at the back. But this horse is rated 65, and he's been running in a lot of better caliber races than this. He's been running against horses consistently rated in the 70s, in the 80s, and if you actually go back to the start of his career, he was trained by Lucky15, who's a good trainer, and he had been running not too badly in maiden company, running against some horses which are now rated in the 80s, 90s. I think one of them might have even been an early hundreds horse, and he wasn't even beaten very far when he had been running in those kind of company. But obviously you can argue that he's changed hands, he hasn't been running well of late, but I thought in this race tomorrow he might have a chance, you know. And at 40 to 1 I thought that wasn't bad. And also a market plus for me was that he's actually going up in trip significantly tomorrow, over a mile and 2 furlongs, and that's where under Luca Comani he'd been running his best. Since he's moved stables, he's been running around about the 7 or 8 furlong mark, and I thought, what the hell is this trainer doing if you actually look back at it? So maybe he was showing at home that he could probably do this kind of trip, and maybe it was too far for him. But I thought tomorrow that could be an interesting move, moving him back up significantly in trip by a couple of furlongs. So it'd be interesting to see how he handles that. But anyway, that's going to be my long shot for tomorrow. If you're familiar with my videos, I often do a nap and a long shot, and that's going to be our long shot tomorrow, and probably our biggest long shot we've ever done here on the channel at 40 to 1. But like I said, I don't think it's as crazy as it sounds, and it might have not a bad chance. Let us know your opinions and thoughts on that selection there tomorrow. Rock and Gold in the 5:55 at Leicester, if you agree with me or not. Probably most of you won't agree with me. But anyway, moving on, we go to our nap for tomorrow in the 6:45 at Newcastle, and you probably say, yeah, this is more like it. Humble Hero, 7 to 4 with bookmakers at the moment, and this one could be backed into tomorrow even shorter than the current price at 7 to 4. Trained by William Haggis, who's a trainer I really like. I always like having a bet on the William Haggis horse. Pat Cosgrave takes the ride tomorrow, who he often uses to ride his horses. And this horse tomorrow is stepping back in trip after probably finding a mile and 6 quite a bit long. He's dropping back in trip tomorrow by a couple of furlongs, and also as well he's dropping down in grade as well. He's been running in a lot better caliber races and not being far beaten, always making the frame at least, finishing in the top few in each of his races, and I thought tomorrow he could definitely be the one to beat in this race tomorrow. He's probably the most classiest horse as well. He's got a nice pedigree, and I thought he would take all the beating tomorrow in this race, and that's going to be my nap for tomorrow in the 6:45 at Newcastle, Humble Hero. We then go over to Newcastle still, and we go to the 8:15, and we go to a horse called Tailors Row, 20-1 with bookmakers at the moment, and you'll see that we've done 3 really big odds horses tomorrow, but I thought this horse again might potentially be not too bad. Tailors Row, 21 with bookmakers, trained by Mark Johnston. Franny Norton takes the ride tomorrow. Now again, this horse has been racing in better calibre races, more classier races, competing against horses rated in the 80s and the 90s, and not being beaten by far. This horse's best form as well tends to be on the all-weather. He tends to run well. He probably doesn't like the turf. He's probably more of an all-weather project, and he's been plummeting down the weights, and also as well, I think he'll definitely appreciate the return to the all-weather tomorrow, because if you look at when he ran at Kempton, he actually did all right to finish about 5th or 6th running on in a race that was full of a lot higher rated horses, so he could be very well handicapped tomorrow. Mark Johnston often has a good record in these kind of races at handicaps. 20-1, not a bad price, and I thought he could definitely go well tomorrow at a price. Anyway, they're my selections for tomorrow. That's a bit of an unusual selection process for us, but like I said, we've done alright, not so badly recently with our long shots. Obviously it's a massive gamble, that 40-1, but let us know your opinions on that one. Anyway, you've been watching Lucky Loads 15. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to our channel here. Also, you can follow us on Twitter at LuckyLoaders15. Also as well, gamble responsibly, and hopefully we can have some winners tomorrow. So I'll be seeing you soon.